So before I get into this video, guys, my camera for whatever damn reason is refusing to cooperate, and it will not for the life of me record, so please bear with the change of format, guys. So back years ago, I made friends with a kid who I went to elementary school with, and our moms actually worked together at the hospital, which I guess is how we were formally introduced to one another. And I was invited over to his house for a sleepover, and this was back when the Xbox 360 was first released and it was the newest, hottest thing. And I distinctly remember going to his room, him turning his Xbox on, and the game I was very aggressively introduced to was Smackdown vs. Raw 2007. Now, I had played wrestling video games before. Games like Smackdown Shut Your Mouth, Smackdown Here Comes the Pain, Day of Reckoning 1 and 2 on the GameCube, WrestleMania 18, 19, Legends of Wrestling, the two Raw games, WWF Warzone, and that ECW game they had on the PlayStation 1. I'd played all those. But Smackdown vs. Raw 2007 hit on a whole other fucking level. And I ended up getting this game myself and playing it daily. I even kept playing it when Smackdown vs. Raw 2008 came out. And I did get '08, and I didn't much care for it. The gameplay felt slow, the story mode sucked, the roster was really slim. That game did a few good things, but at the end of the day I was like, nah, I'll go back to '07. I love Smackdown vs. Raw 2007 to this day, and I still play it. And I don't feel like any wrestling game has come remotely close to it. The games I mentioned a second ago are all still great games that I still play to this day, but '07 is just the most nostalgic for me. I mean, the soundtrack. You get bands like 3 Days Grace, Rise Against, Nodpoint, Godsmack, Allel. The soundtrack alone makes the game 10 out of 10, and it really fits the tone of the Ruthless Aggression era, in my opinion. And the gameplay, man, the fucking gameplay here was untouchable. It felt like a good balance between arcade fun and simulation. The amount of moves that are available with certain wrestlers is still unbeaten by 2K today. And each wrestler felt like their real-life counterparts. Triple H felt like Triple H, Undertaker felt like Undertaker, Edge felt like Edge. The control scheme is very easy to grasp as well. I mean, does the game have glitches? Sometimes, but all wrestling games do. Even Here Comes the Pain, which everyone drools over. And I love Here Comes the Pain as well. But Smackdown vs. Raw '07 felt really authentic in its gameplay, while being fun and enjoyable and very easy to access for anybody to just pick up and play. Season mode, honestly, I don't really remember too much about season mode. If I'm going to be quite honest with you guys, season mode never really appealed to me that much. I didn't hate it, but sometimes for me personally, it could get really tedious to get through. The storylines were so out there to the point where it just took me out of the experience. I know people love season mode, but it just wasn't for me. I like to have control over everything, which leads me into GM mode. GM mode. GM goddamn mode, man. Where do I even begin with GM mode? GM mode is basically where you pick a brand, either Raw or SmackDown in this case, and then compete through a year against the other brand to see who has the better show overall. And you're basically trying to outdo everything the other brand's doing. You'll want to hire storyline writers and book your show with some sense. You know, that thing that the actual WWE fails to do today. And you definitely want to start developing rivalries right away. You'll start out by drafting your wrestlers, and you could burn all your money on all the big money names, but then have no budget to put on special matches. Personally, I can make it work if I draft Triple H to be my main heel on the show, and then make sure I draft The Undertaker as well, because I always have use for them. Then I'll try to draft less popular wrestlers and build their popularity, like doing things like booking them to put them over Ric Flair for that popularity. GM mode was so deep and fun, and they brought it back for 2K22, but it just feels off. You can only have 3 matches. 3 matches? Are you serious? It's fucking garbage. I think I was informed that they were going to be doing a patch update, but that's yet to happen. And GM mode of SmackDown vs. Raw to 2007, still has more replay value than Universe mode, which is completely bare bones and hasn't been good since 2011. SmackDown vs. Raw is a game I can still recommend today. You can find it on PS2 or the version that I still have to this day, the 360 version. The gameplay is the same on both, but the 360 version looks gorgeous and still looks gorgeous to this day. My nostalgia could play into this, but I think it looks better than 2K22. But that's just me. This game took place during the Ruthless Aggression era as well, which was the best era in wrestling history. Sure, the Attitude Era is held in really high regard by wrestling fans, and if I were to ask my dad what the best era was, he'd probably say the Golden Era. But to me, the Ruthless Aggression Era had some attitude, just like the Attitude Era, and it could get really trashy with chicks in bikinis and the swearing and the blood and just all the excessive violence, which was present in the Attitude Era, but the in-ring wrestling was infinitely better than the Attitude Era. Those of us that were Ruthless Aggression kids, don't let anyone tell you different. I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'm out. Peace.